everyone, this is Andrea from Yoga Lounge and Bar in Hudson. Today I thought I'd offer just a few ideas on ways that we can utilize what we have at home for a restorative yoga practice. Most of us don't have a yoga bolster sitting at home, or maybe we only have one block, but we can use a stack of books, we can use normal blankets, pillows and whatnot for our yoga practice. So I'll just bring a few ideas, things that you can utilize at home during this time. So here we'll start in child's pose, toes touch, knees wide, and here I have two pillows, but you can also use anything else that might be a little bit stiffer for you. So for example, I like the bolster a little stiffer, so I actually found this Tupperware container full of some crafts that I have, and I thought I'd use that with a pillow right on top of it. You can also wrap it in a blanket if it feels a little bit more comfortable for you. Also, I have just an ordinary fleece blanket. I'm going to roll that up just like a jelly roll and place that underneath your seat, between your seat and your heels, just to provide a little extra comfort here and not put too much strain on the knees. You can also outstretch a blanket all across your mat if you like as well. So here, to get into child's pose, maybe we start to center the body. You can even close the eyes here and even sweep the arms overhead for a breath in, filling up all that is good. And hands rest at your heart space on the exhale. So finding a place of peace here, noticing breath. And just simply breathing in and out through the nose. Take a few minutes, as long as you like, and then hands stretch back down, and hands rest on either side of your bolster. Walk those fingertips forward until the ribs, chest, shoulders come right on down, and here you can rest to feel the support of that bolster beneath you. And whenever you're ready, you can lift the chin, place the opposite cheek right on down. And you can come out the same way that you came in. Hands underneath the shoulders, peel that chest away from the bolster, and bring the shoulders over the hips. Transition pose could be a few cat-cows if you'd like, or maybe you simply find a place where you can just sit in stillness and notice your breath. So that's number one here with a bolster out in front. Next pose will be legs up the wall. You can actually utilize the wall that you have, or you can even just place a block underneath your hips as well. Those of us with some tight flexors might really enjoy that. So here I'll use a block. You can also use a stack of books. So legs up the wall. Bring that block right underneath that low back. Feet straight over the hips, and maybe the feet are about hips distance or so. From here, notice what it's like to feel the earth beneath you and the hands near the hips, palms face the sky. Another option here, especially if you're filled with anxiety, it's really nice and calming. One hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, to feel the rise and fall of breath connected to your body. Stay for as many breaths as you'd like. And maybe another option here, you can even shift the arms, cactus the arms, and notice maybe the heart chakra begins to open a little bit more. So lots of option with the arms near the hips, palms face the sky, one hand on heart, one hand on belly, or cactus arms. And a fourth one, just arms wide like a T. It's always nice. All right, and we'll come back down here. We'll find a forward fold next. And so to get there, we'll set up exactly like our child's pose, actually, that little makeshift bolster we created, the two pillows, or that little container you might have at home. And we'll send the feet to the very end. Knees are kind of splayed out, And remember, in restorative yoga, we're not using our muscles to keep us into a pose. So there's not strenuous activity that's necessarily needed for any of these poses. They're all designed for us to find ways to unwind. For here, I'm going to fold up my blanket. I'll sit right upon that blanket. That kind of helps release the hip flexors a little bit. So here, as a seated forward bend, grab that block, or again, a stack of books works just as fine. And then we'll start to lean forward, and the forehead rests right on that bolster. Arms come out near your feet. And depending, you might not even need the block at all. Maybe, remember, you have 3 heights, and if you have books, you have even more heights. But you can even place that block flat as you find a forward fold. So stay again for about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll move on to the next pose, which will be fish, Matsyasana, one of my favorite poses in restorative yoga. So for this, I only have 1 block at home, so I'll use my 1 block, and I'll also use a stack of books. And so to get there, what I'll do is place my 1 block right along, be about mid-back or so, where that block will actually rest. So it's going to go left and right on my mat. Also grab my books. That's going to be a little makeshift pillow for the back of the head. So I'll place that there. And hands will rest down near your sides. Eventually you'll bring the elbows down, and the mid-back will rest right along that block. You can always adjust that block. And then eventually, back of the head rests right on those books, on your pillow. Okay. So here, so really great heart opener. Here, option with the arms, you can keep them right near your thighs, palms face the sky. Or again, maybe 1 hand on heart, 1 hand on belly. Also, outstretching the arms wide like a T will help you open the heart even more. You can shorten the stack of books as well, but know that this is really not meant to be a huge stretch of the throat, opening up the front lines of communication in the body. So while it might feel good, just be sure that you're not overextending yourself, right? If you do feel any pain in that low back, you can either come out of the pose the same way you came in, or to help with that, bring the soles of the feet to the mat, hips distance, and even allow the knees to draw in on each other. It's a nice way to protect that low back. And after 10 minutes or so, lift that chin and come out of the pose. Here you just use a little bit of your core to come up, right? And then our last pose will simply be Shavasana. So, of course, always have a blanket on hand, and you have that pillow, so place that pillow maybe the back of the head, maybe even a pillow underneath the knees. If you want to elevate the knees even more to protect that low back or bring a little bit less stress into that low back, you can even place that pretty stiff bolster that you created right underneath your knees. And I always like to have a blanket across the lap. Just a sense of security here. And lean on back. You've got Shavasana. Simple and restorative. So there you have it. All of the poses that you can do at home. I will be posting a few more in a little bit, but I thought that could at least get you started for your 5 or so restorative poses that you want to do at home. Go ahead and stay in those poses for 10, 15 minutes a piece. They're all very grounding poses, especially that child's pose. Thank you so much, and see you soon.